From what you're saying, it looks very attractive to invest in Moldovan real estate-backed loans. What do you believe are some of the risks that investors that are looking for exposure in this market should consider?
Well, it's my biggest things that I try to follow a lot are the political views of Moldova, and I think this is also like something that needs some improvements, needs to be moving in the right direction. This is something that can potentially become an issue. But currently, since like a year and a half, we've been monitoring Moldova. I can tell that I don't see that risk really come into reality.
Welcome back to another P2P talk. So today we'll be talking to Tanel from Reinvest24, and in today's video you will learn more about whether it's a good idea to invest in real estate-backed loans from Moldova. So welcome to the second P2P talk already, Tanel.
Hello, Jakob. It's always great to be here, and looking forward to give you more insights about our Moldova projects.
Yeah, absolutely. So as an investor on Reinvest24, I've noticed that recently a lot of the projects that you list on the platform are from Moldova. So can you tell us a little bit more about the loan types that you are currently offering?
Yep. So we've been monitoring the developing markets in Europe since 2018. We've been researching their legal environment and so on. And finally, last summer, we pulled the trigger with the Moldova and started to offer real estate development projects, real estate backed loans from that region. We worked there with a very experienced international developer who currently has development projects on 6 different markets in Europe. So it took us quite a lot of time to put everything together and also to make the final decision to enter that market. But we didn't want to rush with it, and we wanted to evaluate all our options before choosing any of those markets, and just Moldova stand out from the others.
Can you share a little bit about the loan types, about the project types that you are financing in Moldova?
Yes, so they are real estate backed loans where we issue a loan against the collateral to developer to finish that or build to finance the construction works of those development projects. Typically, the duration of these kind of projects are between 6 to 12 months. The 6-month projects are almost finished; they just need the final touch. And some projects are in an earlier stage. So they are in different stages. There are residential properties, there are commercial properties. We have one shopping center as well. So there are different type of real estate projects on different stages, but they all are real estate backed loans where we work with a third party developer who basically loans the money against the collateral.
I noticed that most of the loans, or all of them, are developed by KIRSAN International, which is the developer. Can you tell us a little bit more about the collaboration between KIRSAN? I know that it's a Swiss-based company, and Reinvest24. How did it happen?
Well, it started from a different angle. We were actually, like, you probably know that our main focus has been rental properties. And the discussion started with the rental properties. Actually, we were planning to enter. We needed a partner in that market. Developing markets are quite difficult to enter as if you want to do it yourself. It's very wise to have a partner who understands the market well. So one thing led to another, and we started out with those development projects as they are very profitable. They are very profitable for KIRSAN. They are very profitable for our investors as well. And we're able to work with a 50% or lower LTV there, which is also secure for our investors. But the ultimate plan with those projects, with those development loans, are still that in the future, we're planning to get some portion of apartments, for example, in some residential development with a very good price, as we're financing also the development of that project, and start operating them and renting them out to also offer this kind of projects.
Is KIRSAN International the only developer that you're working with in Moldova?
Yes, currently they are only developer who we are working at that market. We have some other partners, but not in Moldova, that we are currently trying to work things out. But from Moldova, it's just KIRSAN at the moment, and most likely we're not going to be. In Moldova, there are just a lot of small developers who we are not really that confident to work with. We would consider working with the smaller developers on some more established markets.
I noticed that your offers, your real estate backed loans offer up to 15% in certain cases interest rates. It's very rare to see on a crowdfunding platform to be able to invest in loans with LTV of 50% with such a high yield, and especially on a short-term basis as well. So many investors might think, is this too good to be true? So can you maybe elaborate a little bit more? How come that those projects are able to yield such a high percentage rate?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, you need to understand that this is a developing market. Moldova is not in European Union yet. You wouldn't be able to get these kind of deals even in Baltics. Even though Moldova and Baltic states, they all got independent from Russia in the same time, 1991. Just the whole developing process has been a lot slower in Moldova. They have shared the views with Russia, and they've been until like 2018. The communists have been in the parliament there. But this is rapidly changing now, as Russia has lost their strategical appeal for Moldova since the sanctions. So now in 2018, the communists were left out of the parliament totally. The new president was elected at the end of the last year, whose aim is to bring Moldova to European Union. So this kind of 15% interest deals with that low LTV are only possible on developing markets where developers don't have access to cheap money. And this is the main reason. You could probably find some very risky deals with similar treats or even higher yield on some kombucha or some unknown regions. But there are other risks that you need to consider as well. With Moldova, we see that those other risks are quite small, and the whole direction of the market is heading to where we wanted to see moving.
How do you evaluate the regulatory environment in Moldova? Do you need to have a specific license in order to crowdfund projects from that specific market?
No, I would say that the regulatory environment is not very advanced in Moldova, as well as their notary system. It needs a lot of improvements. But what I really like, and what could be a good thing to point out for all the investors that are investing on that market, the central bank in Moldova is very active. They are involved with all type of loans that are coming from outside of Moldova. So all the loans need to be approved by the Moldova Central Bank before they can be issued. And the Central Bank of Moldova is requesting all related documents in regards to that loan and also the development project. So there is basically additional layer of due diligence being done by the local authorities before you'll be able to issue that loan. So I would say that this is something that you don't see on any other markets in Europe. And it's a great plus for the risk size for our investors.
I know that you're quite active also when it comes to recording videos from certain projects and project sites. Have you been to Moldova by yourself?
No, unfortunately, the current COVID situation hasn't been allowed me to go there. When the Estonia or like other EU countries removed their restrictions, Moldova basically started them at that time. Now, when the Moldova has removed the restrictions, then EU started the restrictions again. So it's been quite difficult. But we have a representative there in place who is giving us video overviews and making sure of the progress. And we also have access to the live security cameras on the construction site. So we basically have a full overview 24/7 of what's going on there, and we can see how the floors are developing on those projects.
All right. Now let's talk about a little bit about the deal and the returns for the investors. I've noticed you have currently maybe around 5 projects that are open for investments in Moldova. How long does it take to get those funded?
There are actually 4 projects from Moldova right now. One of them is from Spain.
Okay.
But it depends a lot on first of all, the stage size, the funding size, and always the first stages are funded faster, as the investors are always looking for like totally new projects to have in their portfolio. So the first stages usually go within a couple of days. They go quite fast. Usually second, third stage also, but once we get to the 5th stage or later on, most of the investors already have those projects in their portfolio, and it just takes a bit longer depending on how many new users are we getting. I would say that we are aware of the funding speed, and we're trying to make sure that our investors don't have that much of a cash drag. So we're trying to make those funding stages as small as possible, as much as developer needs to get to the next stage, but still try to optimize them as much as we can to make the whole process faster.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I was asking because I especially invested in the stage 5 of the currently available project, Metropolis 4D, I think, and it's been already a month, and it's still not fully funded, right? So it takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah, it takes quite a bit of time, but I think we'll be able to change this situation quite a lot once the older loans are going to start making repayments. We started at the end of the May with those development projects with 12 months duration. So now we're starting to get to that point where the older projects are starting to make repayments, which brings more new funds to the platform, which will be most of those funds will be reinvested, and that will help to speed up the whole process quite a lot. And there will be constantly, basically monthly basis, there will be those repayments starting from we will most likely be able to do some repayments already this month. So this new funds coming from new investors and the investors we have, and then the repayments, this will add up and will definitely change the whole speed of funding.
Some of the projects that you have on Reinvest24, they start paying interest and loan principal already on a monthly basis, right? So it's not only at the end of the long term.
Well, yes, I mean, all our third-party developer, like real estate-backed loans, where we issue the loan to the third-party developer, they all are paying monthly interests. Only projects that are our own projects. For example, we have 2 projects in Spain right now. Those projects are full bullet. That means that the principal together with the whole loan interest amount will be paid at the end of the period. But all the projects where we work with KIRSAN, they pay monthly.
So to just make it a bit more clear for those investors who are not as familiar with Reinvest24, so if I invest into a project and it takes a few days or weeks to get funded, when do I start earning interest? Let's say if it's a project with KIRSAN.
If it's a project with KIRSAN, it usually takes a day or 2 after the project is funded when the loan is issued. So this is the start date of that. You will see that your principal loan terms, your investment contract, the draft that is watermarked on your contract will be removed. And this is the date when the interest calculations start. It usually takes a day or 2 after the project is funded.
I've talked to another real estate crowdfunding platform a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about what's the role of institutional investors when it comes to funding real estate-backed loans. And I was wondering if you have some institutional investors on Reinvest24 as well.
Well, it's institutional investor can mean like many things. We don't have any like big funds or any institutions that are regulated and so on. But we do have a lot of companies that are who have the main purpose of investing. Investing is their main purpose. We have this type of companies quite a lot, and we see that Moldova market is actually attracting them quite a lot because there aren't that many easy ways to access that market. So Reinvest is probably one of the easiest ways you can have some exposure to Moldova real estate market, and we see those medium-sized companies that are having the main focus of investing the funds coming to the platform and investing quite large amounts.
Do you plan to expand on this in this area as well, to increase the funding speed and perhaps also to even list more loans and grow as a platform? Is this something that you have in the pipeline for the upcoming months?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, it's not something that you just have in the pipeline time to time, or I mean, like it's one of the main focuses for any platform that is at the size that we are at. So it's not something that we just wanted to do last year, but are not focusing that this year. But obviously, we need to grow bigger. We need to build our user base to give better user experience to all our users, right? To get those projects funded faster, to also take in bigger projects that can be more profitable, that can be with a lower risk. And to do that, we need to keep growing, and this is one of the main focuses. Well, one thing that we have changed this year that we weren't able to do last year is that we have increased quite a lot of our marketing budget, and we are putting a lot into that right now to just keep growing and getting into the stage where we'll be able to take in bigger projects that can be more profitable and less riskier.
You have been listing loans from Moldova for a couple of months already. Have you faced already some delays in payments or any defaults?
No, we actually, our first project was listed last year, June in Moldova. So it's going to be a year almost. There has been no issues with the interest payments. They are usually paid even a bit earlier than expected. But we don't expect to see any kind of delays or any issues. As like I said earlier, we rather choose like bigger established developers who have better financial situation, who are more reliable, that we are more confident in to work with. And I don't think that this is something that we're going to see if we just continue with that strategy.
From what you're saying, it looks very attractive to invest in Moldovan real estate-backed loans. What do you believe are some of the risks that investors that are looking for exposure in this market should consider?
Well, it's my biggest things that I try to follow a lot are the political views of Moldova, and I think this is also like something that needs some improvements, needs to be moving in the right direction. This is something that can potentially become an issue. But currently, since like a year and a half, we've been monitoring Moldova. I can tell that I don't see that risk really come into reality. But other than that, I mean, Moldova notary system is a bit behind, but if we talk about the mortgages, for example, they work in a very similar way that they work here in Baltics, basically the same way. There aren't that many differences. While on some other developing markets, there are some risks, like government can come in front of even though you have first rank mortgage, if government has any claims on the company or the owner, they can come in front of you and basically just take over the property and sell it, and you will lose your collateral. This is something that Moldova doesn't have, for example. So we've been doing our research, we've been looking into this very carefully, and I don't really see that many risks on Moldova, to be honest.
A lot of investors are always wondering about whether a crowdfunding platform is regulated. From my understanding, Reinvest24 is not regulated yet. Can you perhaps share some of your plans for the future to become a regulated entity, so investors feel more safe when they transfer funds to your platform and invest in real estate-backed loans?
Yeah, sure. So we've actually been quite actively in contact with lawyers to discuss this topic. Well, obviously, it is needed, and currently the whole European Union is moving into that direction. We expect to see the Ministry of Finance in Estonia to publish the crowdfunding license in Estonia in around November. So we're looking forward to see the regulatory side of that. But at the same time, we're also looking into alternative fund license. We have been looking into brokerage license even. We need to evaluate. Is it really going to be helpful, or is it just something that we can say that we are regulated so that investors will feel more confident, or will there actually be any benefits for the investors or any additional layer of security? Some licenses do give you that, but some licenses are basically just something that you can use for marketing. It doesn't really make much of a difference, and I've seen that some platforms are going for that, and it probably works, but at the end of the day, more sophisticated investors will understand that, and they will not take it into account that much. But yeah, so EU regulations probably are going to be the best solution, as they are tailored for crowdfunding, and they're trying to solve all those risk issues that crowdfunding has. So I think there is no point to really invent a bicycle here and wait until to see what are those regulations.
Yeah, definitely. I also agree with you that it should not just be a label to being like licensed. I have seen several platforms claiming they are licensed and regulated, and if you actually check the licenses, it's pretty much, it doesn't mean anything in terms of protection for investors. So it's certainly important to point out the requirements to become regulated, and what it means for the crowdfunding platform as well, in terms of safety of the business practices, etc. So definitely good to see that you are on top of the things here, and that Reinvest24 will be looking to become regulated, at least on a EU level. Okay, Tanel, I think we have covered most of the questions regarding the real estate-backed loans in Moldova. It definitely sounds quite exciting from my point of view, and I will be following the developments on your platform, continue reporting about it on P2P Empire. So investors, if you're interested to learn more about Reinvest24, you can have a look at our review where you will learn more about the platform. Tanel, thank you so much for joining again. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and get some of your insights from the industry. And I hope I can catch up with you again in the future and perhaps discuss some of your expansion plans in different markets.
Yeah, we have quite a lot actually in the pipeline, and some interesting announcements as well, and most likely some partnerships. So and also some new markets. So I'm pretty sure there is quite a lot to talk about in the near future.